Hello and good evening, everybody. Back to our stream of the long-haul flight ToLiss Airbus A330-900 neo on the way from Frankfurt to Sydney, Australia. We are 5 hours and 26 minutes into the flight at flight level 350 and just entered the border of Afghanistan. This is pretty interesting because we have high grids here, and that means that we have to do some things here. First of all, I have to contact 122.8, 122.0. Right, good evening, Lufthansa 941, flight level 350.
Lufthansa 941, TBA info. Good evening. Say your request or intentions. Lufthansa 941, TBA info, radar contact. 9 miles west of Maimana Zahiraddin Faryabi Airport at flight level 340 feet. Heading 123 to gear. Maimana QNH 1020. Clear direct LE mode.
Lufthansa 941 direct memo. Let's see. And Lufthansa 941, say again the direct to.
Lufthansa 941, contact TBA info on 125.2. Lufthansa, contact TBA info on 125.2.
Lufthansa 941, 125.2. Goodbye. So, if you wonder what's that, it's not what's an ATC. This is say intentions, which is AI ATC, and I'm just testing it here to see if it's capable of doing the job here in Afghanistan. We will see. Very good evening, Lufthansa 941, flight level 350.
Lufthansa 941, TBA info, identified. Good evening.
Oh, looks good. Okay, so we just entered Afghanistan airspace. The problem with Afghanistan are the high grids. I'll show you on the map. Well, where is it? Where is the map? It's really funny. No, this is not what I'm looking for. Topo map. There you go. So you see that we are here. It's our position, and the grids are getting higher. Over there you have the Himalaya, but this is not our turn today because we are more southerly, but still we have some high grids here. And go back to the high en route chart. And when you see the grids, okay, now you have 14.9. $17.1, 18.9, almost 19,000, and then you have it's going down, 16.0 again, and 14. So the highest grid is 18.9 over there. In the south, you have 16.4. So what we do in real life is normally we have charts for the different areas like Iran, like Afghanistan, Himalaya, or Greenland crossing. You have a crossing chart for these areas, and you discuss with your crew member the escape route, because the biggest threat in these areas is rapid decompression. So when we have to leave our altitude, right now 35,000 feet with 2 engines, no problem at all. But if we get a decompression, we have to go down to preferably 10,000 feet. But we cannot do this here in Afghanistan, at least not in the area we are flying right now. So right now on the chart, normally you can paint your escape routing, and we right now in the 14.9 sector, and in the rapid decompression case, or in the decompression case, which is with 2 engine aircraft also calculated with ETP points and whatever. This is including ETOPS with these 2 engine aircraft. You carry the fuel in the most fuel critical points where you have to continue your flight to the suitable aerodrome or suitable alternate aerodrome in 10,000 feet. You can imagine that you need way more fuel than you carry for the normal flight in 35,000 feet or above. So, but this is also already calculated by the company before you get your OFP. And we can do this later on, just to show you that you have in the OFP some calculations which covers this case. So 14.9 means that we, depending on the temperature, can go down to 15,000 feet. Is the lowest level we can accept. Depending on the temperature on ground or in this area, this is the so-called MUFL, the minimum usable flight level. You have to calculate also. Maybe sometimes when you have low temperatures or minus temperatures on ground, you have to fly even higher than 15,000 feet. But I checked the weather and the alternates and the airports already, so this is not the case today. So today we really can accept 15,000 feet, but still 15,000 feet would be too high for a non-pressurized aircraft. So you have in the rapid decompression case, you have to be within 5 minutes down to 17,000 feet, and then you have about 20 minutes or 25 minutes to stay in 14,000 feet. So that means that you have an alternative or an escape routing when you try to continue your flight to the alternate. So we look to the south and see 14.6. That means that we don't have grids which are significantly lower than the one we have right now. If we turn around from this point on, you see behind us it's getting down because we came from there, 12,700, and when you come to the border of Kabul, FIR, it's getting even lower. You see 4,806, 6,000. So that means that we would turn around and try to get backwards to reach the 10,000 feet then. Since we are continue, because nothing happens right now, we are at the distance to this area with lower grids getting higher and higher. So that means that we have to divert maybe to a field nearby. You see the aerodrome Oscar Alpha Charlie Charlie in the south of our position. So let's see if we get in the closest airport. Something about this. Nothing at all. So let's check if we have OACC in the database. No matching airports found. Okay, so we cannot take this airport, obviously, but we can take Oscar Alpha Bravo November, which is the bearing of 96. That means it is right in front of us. Oscar Alpha Kilo Bravo is Kabul airport. And let's see if we can check if we have Oscar Alpha Bravo November. No. But we can definitely take Kabul. There's Kabul with over 3,500 meters. Okay, let's get weather of Kabul. Well, there's still a frequency, the fuel. Or departure. Okay, so we check the meter now. So let's see, Oscar Alpha Kilo Bravo, variable, fuse 6,000, scattered 8,500, broken 11,025, altimeter 3005. So variable 6, so this looks good. We definitely can go there. Weather looks fine. Now it is interesting to see if we have the chance to go there, because it's 137 miles left of track. And you see the grids are getting higher and higher, so going into Kabul would be really hard to do because we cannot do it with rapid decompression. Okay, if you turn towards Kolta, we can check the MTCA. This is the lowest flight level you can do on this airway, which is on the Victor 338 airway, flight level 160. This is still too high, but still you can do this for quite a while before you have to go lower. But it's not what we are looking for. So let's see the arrival charts for Kabul, how they managed to get in there. Arrival, there's no arrival chart. Approach, there's runway 29er. So the the field elevation is 5,800 feet. It's almost the same like Nairobi in Kenya in Africa. Okay, so if we zoom in further, or let's do it this way, we can, we have to check a different chart because you cannot zoom in and get into the lower RFC chart. So if you're in the lower one, okay, this is not implemented here. Normally you can zoom in there, and if you get more in, the grids are differently because it's more zoomed in, but not in this case. So you have the chart, which is just all the time the same. There is no lower zoom, obviously. No. Okay, so then we are not able to show you what I mean. Okay. Well, so in this case, we could not do it on towards Kabul, at least in the rapid decompression case. So we had to turn around and go west. So let's see if we have something in the west. Nothing in the west. Not good. So let's see when we get to Pakistan is the next FIR. Let's zoom in. So there is the grid of 9,200. So I think right now we are at the most critical part of this flight, grid-wise, because our position represents the highest of grids in this area of 18,900. The distance to the boundary. Let's see in the OFP. So Dobat is the exit point for Lahore FIR. Let's see where Dobat is. Okay, it's not in the lower part. I think it is in the IFR high chart. There's Dobat. There's our airway. Okay, Dobat. Let's see, Dobat. Is that with T? Yeah, it is. Dobat is 130 miles. So that means when we get an rapid decompression, right now I would suggest to continue towards Dobat, because right thereafter we have lower grids to be expected, and that means that we are able to get below 14,000 within 20 minutes, and that means behind Dobat, I think, yeah, we can do almost the 14,200, and when we go left here, let's see, no, this is rising again, but if we go a little easterly, southeasterly, left of track of our airway, we are in the 9,200 sector, so we can go down to 10,000. So I would say we would not return now to get out of the boundary of the Kabul FRR to the west. We would continue right now on our airway towards Dobat, and from Dobat then we would turn more easterly to get into the lower drifts to maintain the 10,000 feet we're heading for in decompression case. Okay, so that the next thing is what I would like to show you, the OFP with the ETOPS part. Let's see if I can find it right away. Let's see. Where is it? Dobat is 5:57. Yeah, so we reached Dobat in 8 minutes. That means this is well enough. 5 minutes down to 17,000 feet, and 20 minutes for 14,000 feet. That means that we are within the grid of 9,200. We can go down to 10,000 straight away. So let's see if I can find the ETOPS part. Where is it? Is it on the back of the flight plan? Yeah. Okay, here it is. So ETOPS ETP official critical point information. ETOPS route time is 120 minutes. Why 120 minutes? Because this aircraft is new to the fleet. It's not even delivered, or it will be delivered on Saturday officially, and you have to get ETOPS. You have to request ETOPS, and you have to be reliable with your engines. So since the Airbus A330-900 is already in service with different airlines from 2017 on, for 7 years now, so they have experience with these Trent 7000 engines to say, okay, they will be at least capable for 120 minutes time ETOPS. But normally you would like to have more, 180 or even 240 minutes. But you have to prove that. That means that you have to do flights and years to come where you prove that your engines are reliable, that you maintain and do the maintenance for these engines properly, that you get the right and the opportunity to operate your flights with ETOPS beyond 120 minutes. So right now we have 120 minutes. This is on our routing towards Sydney, no problem, because we have landfall all the time. The only ocean we really cross is from Indonesia down to Australia, which is not really big, so the distance. So it's not a problem on that route. So let's see the ETOPS information. We have the entry and the exit, and you see we have only one ATP. What does that mean? We are flying almost 19 hours with this flight and have, as you see, a very, very small area of ETOPS. What is ETOPS? ETOPS is translated engines turn or passengers swim. No, it's just a joke. We pilots do it like this because it's very funny. It's not engine turns or passenger swim. It's extended twin operations. That means if you go over the Atlantic or big distance over the Pacific, Indian Ocean, whatever, you need ETOPS. And you need the certification for it. The aircraft needs to do it or needs to have it. And the pilots have to have training for it. And ETOPS starts when you have an alternate which is further away as 60 minutes flying time. So if you put on your route a circle of 60 minutes towards an aerodrome and can continue this towards the destination, you don't need ETOPS. Because without ETOPS, you can do what you want when you get your alternate reached in about 60 minutes. But if you exit this one, or you need more than 60 minutes, then you enter ETOPS. And this is meant with the ETOPS entry point, which we have at 15 south and 114 degrees east. So this is between Bali, Whiskey Alpha Delta Delta, and Yankee Papa Tango November, which is Australia. I don't right now, not what the airport exactly is. Anyway, so the entry point is where we leave the 60-minute circle, and the ETP itself, which you see between Whiskey Alpha Delta Delta and Yankee Papa Tango November at 21 south and 120 east, is the point of equal time, the equal time point, ETP. That means if you reach this, you don't return to Bali, you don't return to Whiskey Alpha Delta Delta, you continue Yankee Papa Tango November as an alternate. And the time where we reach this ETP is at 0213 Zulu. This is in about, I would say, 7 hours. Until then, we have no ETP, so we are within the 60-minute circle. The exit means that you leaving the ETOPS area and entering the normal flight area, which means you have again 60 minutes to the next suitable alternate aerodrome. This is at this is strange. This is at 1:56. That cannot be. That cannot be. So the time is different. So what is it? It is the elapsed time and the time. Elapsed time is 14 hours 8 minutes. 15 hours 3 minutes is the ETP. So this means in 10 hours we reach this ETP, and the exit we reach at 1,549 hours, so 1549. I got it. I think the 1 hour 13 minutes of Whiskey Alpha Delta Delta is the time you need to go to Whiskey Alpha Delta Delta for the alternate. When you fly, if you continue to fly after 15 hours and 3 minutes, you reach the ETP1, and then you have a time for 2 hours 30 minutes to Whiskey Alpha Delta Delta if you return, or you continue 2 hours and 13 minutes towards Yankee Papa Tango November. And when you reach the exit, which we are talking about right now, and you need 1 hour 56 minutes to Ips Papa Tango November. Okay. The distances and the ESA temperature is the next column. Distance is 435 miles. And on the ETP, you see 815 miles and 805 miles. 850 miles, you go to Whiskey Alpha Delta Delta, and 805 miles to Yankee Papa Tango November. That means that you have not much wind. So it's only 10 miles difference. So that means you have tailwind going to Yankee Papa Tango November to continue, and you have headwind when you go back. The time is the same because it's the equal time point. Okay. Next column is Mora. This is the minimum grid you have. This is 12,800 in the entry, 12,800, and you have 3,300 over Australia. So ice addition you need, or you can, it's included in the calculation, is 400 kilos at the ETP, 700 kilos and 600 over the exit. And now you get the critical fuel. Critical fuel is at the ETP with 15.9 tons. Fuel on board is 21.6 tons at the ETP, 25.7 in the entry, and 18.3 at the exit. And you see the last column is the condition that's what I'm talking about before. The DX is the decompression case with engine failure. You have 3 scenarios which you have to calculate in ETOPS. The first is single engine. This is 1X. You have the decompression case, the second one. This is DC code. And the third one is a combination of both. You have a single engine and a decompression. How can that be? Maybe you have an engine rupture, or pieces of the engine destroying, getting rid of the engine, hitting the aircraft, hitting the cell, and the decompression starts because of damage of the fuselage, and you have to go down. So this is the most critical scenario: rapid decompression and single engine case. So what we do, with Lufthansa, you don't need to do this because it's already calculated in the OFP, and also in the en route manual. You have these ETPs, entry and exit points, already marked and implemented in the e-route manual. But right now, we put it into the FMC, and we have two possibilities to do this. The first is the data page and the equitime point, and let's put it in. So the first one is Whiskey Alpha Delta Delta. And Yankee Papa Tango November. So this is the case which we are trying to do. In the meantime, I will get weather of these two airports. It's way too early to do this because we have 10 hours to fly. But anyway, just to showcase what I mean. Okay, so what we do next is look at our briefing package. We are at page 16. Let's see if we can well, so let's see. We said in about 10 hours we have our ETP or our ETOPS entry. That is 5 o'clock in the morning.
Lufthansa 941, contact Islamabad control on 120.75.
120.75 Lufthansa 941. Bye bye. Islamabad. Okay, 120.75. Islamabad radar. Good evening. Lufthansa 941, flight level 350.
Lufthansa 941, Islamabad control identified. Good evening.
Okay, this is about NONEX. Let's see if we can find it here. NONEX, where is it? Where are you? NONEX, NONEX. NONEX. Wow. Yeah, no necks. Level 390, 268.43. 268. With 43 knots. This is the first one. And then so the next one is, let's see. One hour and 30 minutes after. So normally you have the ETP written in your OFP, so it's a lot easier. But right now, just for demonstration, I try to do it manually just to show you what I mean. So there's no necks, and 1 hour and 40 minutes. Let's see, 6, 7:20, something like that. Okay, let's see. There is leg 274, 56. For the second one. So this is the ETP, which is written on the ND with a circle and the ETP. And it takes a while until it's calculating the ETP. And what I do is then, as the final stage we do here, is putting the ETP as a waypoint. And we can do this in the meantime while he's calculating. Pilot's waypoint. So that means new waypoint, ETP1 is the name. And it is 2124.0 south, 2124 and 120.16.3. East. Is that true? 120.16.3. So put it into the lat long and store. So right now we go into the fixed info page and insert ETP1. And then we have it on our flight plan, or at least on the ND when we pass this area. So what we do next is just to check on the plan mode page if we can see. Normally when we calculate it correctly with the equitime point page and with the ETP calculator.
Contact Lahore control on 127.5.
Lufthansa 941 127.5. Good day. I'm not sure if that is correct. Our radar, good evening, Lufthansa 9041, flight level 350.
Lufthansa 9041, Lahore Control. Good evening. Identified.
That's good. Okay, so yeah, we check if these 2 points matching each other. So different calculation based on these FMS and the OFP from the company. Let's see if they do. So it is in 15 after 15 hours. 15 hours, this is 9 hours. Mm-hmm. Nine hours from now. 4:43, something like this. Oh shit. Thank you. I'll do it the other way around. I think it's a shorter way. Okay, let's see. There is something we can. Okay, there's the ETP. Oh yeah, you see, there's the ETP. This is the one from the page equal time point between these 2 airports, and the blue ETP1 is the point we created in the waypoint with the coordinates, and which we inserted in the fixed info page. So you see they are still different, but not that much different. I would say maybe 10 minutes maximum. So somewhere in between, you can say this is your ETP. I would say the most accurate is the one on the OFP. This is really calculated with the actual winds. The ETP inserted in the equal time point are the winds we also have in the OFP, but based on waypoints and levels. So this is not that accurate as the OFP one. So I would tend to take the ETP of the OFP. This is much more accurate than the other one. But just to see if they are way off out of line, so you have to check what is wrong, your insertion with the equal time point or even the calculation in the OFP. Okay, that's it. So the weather data is there for Whiskey Alpha Delta Delta. Northerly wind 4 knots, fuel 1,725 degrees, 1011 the QNH. This is pretty good. And IPS Papa Tango November from 1900 Zulu 330 with 5. No significant clouds, 27 degrees and 1010. Also very good. Very nice. Very nice. Good. Well, so next is a fuel check. We were at page number 9. And let's see which is the point we're heading to. Libib. Libib is over there. 350. So we should have an elapsed time of 6 hours and 12 minutes. This is pretty much off because we are already 6 hours and 17 minutes on the way. Means the wind is obviously not correct. The wind is 276 with 86. And in the OFP 283.92. Yeah. Okay, we should have more tailwind, but it's just 7 knots. It's not really big. But he says that we have a tailwind component of 89 knots. This is not the case. Yeah, but almost. Oh, trim trunk transfer. Let's see what he's doing. Huh? Oh, okay. He's transferring from the inner tanks towards the trim tank. Our CG's in the meanwhile 37.5. Wow. And that's it. And he's turning around again. On my next flight, I really have to see if the real aircraft is doing it also. Look at that. Transferring aft, transferring forward, transferring aft, all the time. That cannot be correct. Now it's getting forward again. I will check that. Okay, anyway, so we checked Libib 1948. This is 2 minutes ago. This is 6:17. Let's see, 6:17. This is 5 minutes later, and the fuel is 65.9. We should have 65.6, so we have 300 kilo gain, but we had 700 gain before, so we lost 400 because of the time we lost. So we had 1 minute on the last fuel check I did, and now we lost 4 minutes more. Not good. And our estimated fuel on board for Sydney is still 3.1. Well, that will be a pretty interesting thing when we get to our decision point to get to Sydney or to divert. Our final reserve fuel, we can check that. Our final reserve fuel is 1900 kilograms, 1930. So let's say 2000. So our final reserve plus alternate is 5,127. 5.2. That means 2,000, so 1,100. So we're missing 2 tons for our alternate fuel. But our alternate in our calculation said, no, that's the wrong page, that we need, because I made the routing from Sydney, when you remember, from Sydney to Canberra, and this is 2.5 tons. This is different. This is 700 kilos. Subtract, then we, missing 1,300 kilograms for our alternate. That would mean that we have to stay at Sydney and get rid of all alternate. But this is a thing we calculate later on. We have time enough for that. Because it's depending on how many runways you have in use, how many instrument approaches are in use and offered at that airport, and so on and so on. If you can do that or not, we will see. So we cannot save more fuel. We are flying with cost index 0 already. Our optimum level is flight level 340. Recommended max is 388. Let's see where our step climb is. Next one. $370 at Igona. Igona is, we're reaching Igona in 1 hour. Then we go to flight level 370. Okay. Yeah. So far, so good. You see, we're just cruising here. Most of the folks think they're just doing nothing. Just sitting there, staring out of the window, drinking coffee, telling jokes to the co-pilot, and making fun of everything. But you see, you are always calculating what ifs. What if you have an engine failure? What if you have a rapid decompression? What if you have terrain critical areas where you fly over, like Afghanistan? This is something you have to cope with, and the best thing you can do is prevention. That means you have to think about it in advance, not when it's happening, because then it's too late. You don't have time for that. So let's see what the grids say. In the meantime, we should have grids right now which are way, way down below right now. Where is it? There you go. 2,800. It's absolutely gorgeous. All right, that's it. Okay, so far so good. This is part 2 of our long-haul flight from Frankfurt to Sydney in the brand new Airbus A330-900 Neo, developed and well mastered by ToLiss company, and the release date is on Saturday, the day after tomorrow. You can look forward to it. It's marvelous. It's a masterpiece. You really can do the typewriting with this thing. It's really great. We checked this fuel transfer thing, and I will address that. Maybe it's correct. I doubt it, Well, because I never saw that in real life. When it's transferring, I looked at it quite a while on the Neo as well, as I flew the Neo with Condor and as well the CEO with Lufthansa. They don't do this. But hey, maybe it's normal system behavior. We will see. All right. So thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for part 3 in quite a while. So 6 hours and 27 minutes into the flight. That means 12 hours and 20 minutes still to go. So not even close to halftime. All right. Have a good night. Have a good evening. See you then. Cheerio.